He always made people feel good about themselves.
Really bubbly, infectious, inspiring.
Quite selfless, I would say.
He'd go out of his way to tell a joke or be funny. He was very in tune to people's feelings.
A friend, yeah, very good friend.
He always kept very strong roots to the local community and, you know, people of Southampton. He always believed that you should help anyone you can, possibly have an impact, positive impact on as many people as you possibly can. So one of the things he did in Southampton was he mentored long-term unemployed people, and then he also worked for Shelter in London, where he helped homeless people. He then also would work on an international basis, but then would also do charity work on an international basis, where he would run marathons in Gaza, marathons in Bethlehem to raise money for Palestinian children.
Just a very generous person that always said yes if he could, and always looked for ways of helping and supporting other people. I'd planned a 3-peak challenge. It was in aid of street children around the world, and it was just a couple of days before the event, and unfortunately Del got very sick and was unable to join us on the 3-peak challenge, and then he gave a rather handsome donation to our fundraising efforts.
He left a real mark on all of our lives. Del came from a great city with a really warm, loving family environment. The inspiration that came from his family, and in particular his mother, I think showed him that he could fulfill his potential.
So the house we now live in, we affectionately call Mr Singh residence. And when we first went to look at it, it was just an empty shell. It used to be an office and everything was plastic and polystyrene, and Mum and I saw no beauty in this house. Del and my younger sister saw something we obviously didn't, and so as a family we bought this house. He pretty much looked after it. He was working abroad in Afghanistan at the time. He was working on his politics. He was still doing all of his charitable work, and then he was dealing with the construction of our house. You know, when this happened with Dow and I had to then take over the house, it fully consumed me. I had no idea how he was dealing with the house, and when I went to Afghanistan, you know, the week after everything happened, on his desk, one of the first documents I came across were his plans, and it's a bunch of papers he'd stapled together of exactly how he wanted the house to look, what he wanted the finished spec to look like, and behind these printouts he'd actually written in hand the story of our house, and he'd researched it, where it came from, who owned it, the people who'd lived in there. He had names. What I then did is I took this, it was almost like a blueprint for me, and, you know, hopefully we finished the house to the way he, I think, would have wanted it finished.
I hope that through the Del Singh Foundation that we can carry on with some of the good work that Del did in his lifetime, and then create a legacy for Del of the goodness that he left behind.
At the moment we're offering a scholarship at the London School of Economics, and then we're also partnering up with a school in Palestine to build a playground for them. And then a longer term plan is hopefully we'd like to work within Southampton with children in Southampton to help build aspirations. Those children who might not necessarily have that guiding hand, to show the full potential of what they can become.